Hello and welcome. We're coming to you from the Peaceful Land of Joy Meditation Centre here in Euroke, Melbourne, Australia. The subject of this talk is Bodhicitta, the conventional mind of enlightenment. Maitreya, in his Ornament for Clear Realization, explained Bodhicitta like this. Bodhicitta means, for the sake of others, wishing to attain complete, perfect enlightenment. I'd like to begin with a little background talk, how all this fits together, how the Tibetan Buddhist Society came about through the unbelievable kindness of Geshe Acharya Thubten Loden, our kind and precious root guru. Everything depends on something else for its existence. Dependent arising is the basis of all phenomena. Because of this, that arises. Our story begins almost 100 years ago. The year is 1924. The place, Eastern Tibet. A child is born, a boy. His mother is Nawang Lamo. His father is Todkyal. A holy Lama, Geshe Champel Trime, names the infant Loden, unchangeable wisdom. Loden has natural compassion. Suffering and poverty arouse instant generosity in the child. His compassion extends to animals too. Clinging to the leg of the local butcher in tears, Lodro saves the life of a yak. Lodro has an obvious inclination to a religious life. Often he is found sitting in a cave, meditating and reciting mantras. Now, 6 years old, Lodro and his parents are visited by a great Lama, Lab Khenchen Rinpoche, Thubten Jangyang Nyima. Gazing at the young boy, he places his hands on the child's head, giving him a blessing. Silent for a while, he then predicts that if Lodro Denpa becomes a monk, he will be of benefit to many beings and directly aid the spread of the Buddha's teachings. At age 7 in 1931, Lodro begins his studies at Drombu Thubten Daje Ling and is ordained as a novice monk by Lab Khenchen Rinpoche and given the ordination name Thubten Loden. 7 years later he moves to Seshu Monastery, which offers a far more extensive study program. At age 17 in 1941, to further his studies, he walks alone for 2 months across central Tibet to Sera Monastic University in Lhasa. Once there, after careful examination and reflection, Thubten Loden begins his studies under the guidance of Geshe Jampa Chopel. For the next 3 years, Thubten Loden studies the commentary to the Compendium of Valid Cognition by Dharmakirti. From 1944, for 7 years, he studies the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, as well as Maitreya's Ornament for Clear Realization, Tsongkhapa's Golden Rosary of Good Explanation, Gyaltsabje's Ornament of the Essence, and Asanga's Bodhisattva Grounds. Completing his studies in perfection wisdom at age 27, Thubten Loden receives the full ordination of a monk from the Holy Lama Jamgong Rinpoche. Continuing his studies and practice, Thubten Loden receives many teachings from His Holiness Trijang Dorji Chang Losang Yeshe, junior tutor to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. In 1951, at age 27, Thubten Loden begins a 6-year study of middle way philosophy. The first 2 years studying Engaging in the Middle Way by Chandrakirti. During the 3rd and 4th years, concentrating on Nagarjuna's fundamental wisdom, with the final 2 years in private study and meditation on these 2 great treatises. He also studies and receives instructions on Nagarjuna's 6 collections of reasoning, Aryadeva's 400 verses on the middle way, and Engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds by Shantideva. He then spends 6 years studying Vinaya, the teachings on discipline and karma, followed by 4 years studying Abhidharma, using the treasury of knowledge by Vasubandhu. In 1959, Tibet is invaded by the communists, and Thubten Loden, along with many thousands of fellow Tibetans, escapes to India. Once there, Thubten Loden resumes his studies. In 1968, His Holiness the Dalai Lama instructs a special class, which includes Thubten Loden, to attend the Sanskrit University in Varanasi to obtain the respected Acharya degree. In 1970, Thubten Loden graduates from the Sanskrit University with honours. After receiving his Acharya degree, Thubten Loden, with other members of the special class, are summoned to Dharamsala by His Holiness the Dalai Lama to be examined for their Geshe degrees. The examination lasts 8 hours a day for 7 days. His Holiness presides over the sessions, and at the end of the examinations, His Holiness grades the candidates. Thubten Loden is awarded equal first place. His Holiness then selects the 26 highest graduates and divides them into 2 groups, ordering each one to attend one of the 2 main tantric monasteries of the Gelug lineage, Juto Tantric College and Jume Tantric College. In the meantime, His Holiness orders the special class to present itself for examination by the 3 great monastic universities, Sera, Ganden and Drepung. First, at Sera, they are subjected to a grueling 2-week examination. The candidates are graded 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and so on. Thubten Loden is awarded equal first place. Ganden and Drepung monastic universities now examine the class in their turn. Once again, Thubten Loden is placed equal first. Finally, His Holiness submits the class to a 1-day public examination in Dharamsala before himself, His Holiness Ling Rinpoche, His Holiness Trijang Rinpoche, and all the high abbots and geshes. Almost the entire population of Dharamsala turns out to witness the performance of the candidates. After a long session of questioning and debate, His Holiness publicly awards Thubten Loden equal first place in the special class and his Geshe Larampa degree. Geshe Acharya Thubten Loden then enters Jume Tantric College. Here he studies and practices the 4 levels of Tantra. In 1975, Geshe Loden is examined on his understanding and knowledge of all 4 levels of Tantra. The examination is conducted in front of the assembled monks. At the end of 2 days, he is awarded a degree in Tantric Studies with honours. In 1975, Lama Thubten Yeshe, spiritual director of the FPMT, the Foundation for for the preservation of the Mahayana tradition, requests Geshe to accept a teaching position at Chenrezig Institute Meditation Centre in Australia. After careful reflection, Geshe Loden determines that this will be of benefit and seeks the advice of His Holiness Dalai Lama and His Holiness Trijang Rinpoche. His Holiness the Dalai Lama confirms his finding, advising him to accept the post, stay in Australia for 3 years, and then return to his students in India. At the conclusion of the interview, His Holiness clasps his hand, explaining that he will need great perseverance and patience. At Chenrezig Institute, Geshe, assisted by Venerable Zazep Tulku Rinpoche as translator, begins a 3-year program of instruction. Over this 3-year period, Geshe gives teachings on the graded path to enlightenment by Lama Tsongkhapa, as well as mind training in 8 verses by Geshe Langri Tangpa. Geshe also teaches the major philosophical Buddhist texts, each generally lasting 2 or 3 months with intensive study, meditation practice, and discussion. Engaging in the Bodhisattva Deeds by Shantideva, Treasury of Knowledge by Vasubandhu, Engaging in the Middle Way by Chandrakirti, The Fundamental Wisdom by Nagarjuna, Ornament for the Mahayana Sutras by Maitreya, Understanding the Mind by Pochong Jompa Rinpoche, Sublime Continuum by Maitreya, Systems of Tenets by Sarah Jetson Choki Yaltsen. Then, in December 1979, Geshe Thubten Loden returns to India to resume his work at Sarah and Jumei. First, he visits his gurus in Dharamsala, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the 2 tutors. The possibility of another visit to Australia is discussed, as Geshe has many students there requesting his return. On the advice of his teachers, Geshe agrees to return to Australia. He names his centres the Tibetan Buddhist Society, and that's where we are coming to you from today. From this, that arises. From that, this arises. Due to the existence of this, that arises. Geshe passed away in August 2011. But his legacy lives on in his 9 beautiful Bodhicitta publications books, in his Dharma centres, with their traditional Tibetan temples and beautiful gardens, and through his students. Geshe is the embodiment of Bodhicitta, the conventional mind of enlightenment. This is the prayer of the path to enlightenment, great treasury of excellence, composed by Jetson Tsongkhapa. It outlines the entire Mahayana path to enlightenment. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Please just close your eyes and meditate on these wonderful words. The kind master is the basis of all qualities, and proper alliance is the root of the path. By seeing this excellence and through much striving, bestow blessings to be devoted with great respect. This gentle support of freedom, obtained this one time, is most difficult to achieve. Knowing its great value gives rise to a mind seizing its essence constantly, day and night. Bestow blessings to generate this continuum unceasingly. It is like a bubble in water, this constantly moving body and life. Thus, remember the swift collapse of death. Beyond death, like body and shadow, white and black karmic results follow after. By gaining firm certainty in this, the massive faults, subtle and very subtle, are abandoned, and the accomplishment of all virtuous collections completed. Bestow blessings to ever attain conscientiousness. The qualities of samsara are unfit to be trusted. The door to all suffering. Do not be content with these enjoyments. By knowing its defects, bestow blessings to develop a great aspiration for the bliss of liberation. By that pure thought, great conscientiousness is drawn forth, and mindfulness and awareness of the individual liberation, the root of the teachings. Bestow blessings to make this the essential practice. Just as I myself have fallen into samsara's ocean, all living beings as mother are also like that, by seeing the responsibility for the liberation of beings. Bestow blessings to be trained in supreme bodhicitta. However, by merely generating the mind, if not acquainted with the three aspects of ethics, enlightenment will not be attained. By seeing this excellence, bestow blessings to train with strong effort the vows of the conqueror's sons and daughters. Pacifying distraction toward perverse objects by way of proper analysis of the perfect meaning, bestow blessings to swiftly and continuously generate the path related to the union of calm abiding and special insight. Thus, becoming a vessel trained in the common paths, enter the Vajrayana, supreme evolution of all vehicles. Bestow blessings to engage the easy path itself, that sacred way of crossing for fortunate beings. The base of practice for the two aspects of attainment is when guarding the pure vows of commitment is found to be genuine and certain. Bestow blessings to protect them even at risk of life. Then, by understanding properly the important points, which are the essence of the two stages of the Tantra classes, bestow blessings to practice according to these holy teachings. With continuous effort in the Supreme Four-Session Yoga. Like that, may the spiritual friend revealing the gentle path and the friends of proper practice stand firm. Bestow blessings to quickly pacify the masses of outer and inner hindrances. In all rebirths, may I never be parted from perfect gurus and the enjoyment of the glorious Dharma, by utterly completing all qualities, paths and grounds. May I quickly achieve the state of Vajradhara. This is a summary of the stages of the path to enlightenment. Begin with the root practice of reliance on the Guru, which is the foundation of all realizations. As Lama Tsongkhapa said in the prayer to the path to enlightenment, the kind master is the basis of all qualities, and proper reliance is the root of the path. Seek out a Guru with the 10 qualities. Maitreya, in his ornament for the Mahayana Sutras, writes, rely on a Guru who is controlled by pure morality, pacified through meditation, completely pacified through discriminating wisdom, who has more knowledge than you, perseverance, a wealth of scriptural knowledge, realization of suchness, the wisdom perceiving shunyata, the emptiness of inherent existence, is skilled in teaching, has love and compassion, and has abandoned being discouraged from teaching. If you cannot find such a teacher with the 10 qualities, they should have at least 5. Controlled by ethics, pacified by meditative concentration, completely pacified through discriminating wisdom, realization of suchness, and love and compassion. If that's not possible, the Guru should have 3 at minimum: more qualities than faults, more concern for others than himself or herself, and more interest in future lives than this life. Devote yourself with strong faith. Begin the practice of small scope, which leads to medium scope, and that, of course, leads on to great scope. It is, after all, a path leading to enlightenment. Rejoice in your achievement. Rejoice in the achievement of your precious human rebirth. Understand and contemplate the leisure of 8 freedoms and 10 endowments. See their great value and how they are difficult to obtain. Shantideva, in his Engaging in the Bodhisattva Deeds, writes, "Having found such leisure, if I do not become acquainted with virtue, there is nothing more deceptive than this. There is nothing more foolish than this." Release the mind from grasping by knowing impermanence. All things are impermanent, changing constantly, disintegrating moment by moment, until they exist no more. Death is definite, and its time of arrival uncertain. At the time of death, only Dharma can benefit. Take refuge in the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, by knowing the causes, the objects and the benefits of refuge. Be mindful of karma. Vasubandhu, in his Treasury of Knowledge, writes, "The whole variety of all the worlds was created by karma." Actions created will bring their results. Without cause, there can be no effect. Avoid negative karmas, which bring about suffering and lower rebirths. Cultivate positive karmas, the source of all happiness and higher rebirths. From the small scope, we continue along the path of medium scope. Generate renunciation by knowing the faults of samsara, the sufferings of birth, sickness, aging and death, the suffering of uncertainty, dissatisfaction, loneliness, the endless cycle of samsara. In the Four Noble Truths, Wheel of Dharma Sutra, Lord Buddha taught, this is true suffering, this is true source, this is true cessation, this is true path. Know the suffering, abandon the source, attain the cessation, meditate on the path. Know the suffering, then there is nothing more to know. Abandon the source, then there is nothing more to abandon. Attain the cessation, then there is nothing more to attain. Meditate on the path, then there is nothing more to meditate on. Meditate on the 12 links of dependent origination. Buddha explained these in the Rice Seedling Sutra. Bhikkhus, whoever sees dependent arising sees phenomena. Whoever sees phenomena sees the Buddha. Due to the existence of this, that arises. Due to production of this, that is produced. It is thus. Due to ignorance, there is compositional action. Due to compositional action, there is consciousness. Due to consciousness, there are name and form. Due to name and form, there are the 6 sense sources. Due to the 6 sources, there is contact. Due to contact, there is feeling. Due to feeling, there is attachment. Due to attachment, there is grasping. Due to grasping, there is existence. Due to existence, there is birth. Due to birth, there is aging and death. Due to aging and death, there is sorrow. And grief, suffering, unhappiness and conflict will arise. Thus, the great suffering of the aggregates is produced. Strive to be liberated from samsara. Continue along the path from medium scope to great scope. Generate bodhicitta. Recall Maitreya's definition. Bodhicitta means for the sake of others, wishing to attain complete perfect enlightenment. Through this aspiration to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, all practices become the Mahayana path. Shantideva. Whatever joy there is in this world, all comes from desiring others to be happy. Whatever suffering there is in this world, all comes from desiring oneself to be happy. Meditate on the 7-point cause and effect method from a foundation of equanimity. See all beings as our mother. Remember her kindness. Seek to repay that kindness. Generate the mind of great love, wishing all beings to have happiness. Generate the mind of great compassion, wishing all beings to be free from suffering. Develop the pure superior intention to take responsibility to liberate all beings from samsara, the mind of Bodhicitta. Engage progressively in the 6 perfections with Bodhicitta motivation. Perfection of generosity, perfection of ethics, perfection of patience, perfection of joyous effort, perfection of meditative stabilization, perfection of wisdom. Continue on your path to enlightenment. Meditation on Bodhicitta, the 4 Immeasurables. The 4 Immeasurables are love, compassion, joy and equanimity. Visualize in front of you Shakyamuni Buddha on a lotus moon cushion and sun cushion. The lotus represents renunciation, the moon cushion represents bodhicitta, the sun cushion represents wisdom. Visualize surrounding you all sentient beings of the 6 realms, all appearing in human form, all humans, family, friends, enemies and strangers, all animals, pets, wild animals, all animals domesticated for human consumption, for meat and milk, leather, whatever, all hungry spirits, all hell beings, all gods and demigods. Now contemplate. No beings wish to suffer. No beings wish to experience suffering. Meditate on immeasurable love, thinking, how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings had happiness and the causes of happiness. May they have happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take responsibility. I will help them to have happiness. Bless me to bring this about in this way. Now visualize light and nectar emanating from Shakyamuni Buddha, coming down like gentle rain. purifying one's own and all sentient beings' negativities. And all sentient beings experience happiness. Now we meditate on immeasurable compassion, thinking, how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and all the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. I will take responsibility. I will help them to be free from suffering. Bless me to bring this about in this way. Now visualize light and nectar emanating from Shakyamuni Buddha, coming down like gentle rain, purifying one's own and all sentient beings' negativities, and all sentient beings are free from suffering. Now we meditate on immeasurable joy, thinking, how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness which is without suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is without suffering. I will take responsibility. I will help them never to be separated from the happiness which is without suffering. Bless me to bring this about in this way. Now, visualize light and nectar emanating from Shakyamuni Buddha, coming down like gentle rain, purifying one's own and all sentient beings' negativities, especially the hindrances to the experience of the happiness which is without suffering. Finally, we meditate on immeasurable equanimity, thinking how wonderful it would be if all sentient beings could abide in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion, free from holding some close and others distant. May they abide in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I will take responsibility to help them to abide in equanimity. Bless me to bring this about in this way. Now, visualize light and nectar emanating from Shakyamuni Buddha, coming down like gentle rain, purifying one's own and all sentient beings' negativities, especially the hindrances to the experience of abiding in equanimity. Now we dedicate the merit from our meditation on the four immeasurables. By this virtue, may all beings complete the collections of wisdom and merit and attain the true holy bodies arisen from wisdom and merit. May the precious superior mind of enlightenment be generated in those who have not yet generated it, and not decrease in those who have developed it, but increase continuously. The perfection of generosity. Generosity is those actions of body, speech or mind motivated by the virtuous thought to give. Any generosity motivated by Bodhicitta becomes a perfection of generosity. It is not the physical action of giving, nor the gift itself. Shantideva, in his Engaging in the Bodhisattva Deeds, writes, the thought to give all beings everything, together with the fruits of this, is said to be the perfection of generosity. Thus it is simply a state of mind. For this meditation, visualize all your wealth, however much or little, doesn't matter, all your possessions, accumulations, even your body, transform into light. Offer everything you have to all beings of the 6 realms. Also, we make offerings to all the Buddhas. Visualize light emanating from your body, transforming into various offerings. Food and drink for hungry spirits, soothing conditions for hell beings, garlands of flowers for gods and demigods, light and blessings for animals, offering love and compassion, freedom from suffering for all beings, offering Dharma teachings for those aspiring for Dharma, and offering protection for the fearful. To enlightened beings, visualize light nature offerings of food and drink, perfume, flowers, incense, light, music, auspicious symbols. Feel that you are giving everything without miserliness, but with joy and the wish for all beings to be free from suffering and to have all good conditions of body and mind. Concentrate single-pointedly on limitless generosity. The perfection of ethics. Ethics is the virtuous thought to abandon both the harming of others and the thoughts that are the basis for harming them. Based on Bodhicitta motivation, our practice of ethics will become a perfection of ethics. It is the complete development of a state of mind based on Bodhicitta that restrains from harming others. It is not the total eradication of harm. Shantideva once again, nowhere has the killing of fish or other creatures been eradicated. The attainment of the thought to abandon this is explained as the perfection of ethics. Our meditation on the perfection of ethics involves contemplating each of the 10 non-virtues: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, idle gossip, covetousness, malice, and wrong views. Then apply the 4 opponent powers: the power of the object, the power of regret, the power of the opponent practice, and the power of commitment. If you don't know these, you can look them up in Geshe's Path to Enlightenment book. Meditate single-pointedly on ethics, the power of restraint. The perfection of patience. Patience is a virtuous mind that can remain indifferent to any form of harm inflicted by others. When this peaceful, stable, non-violent mind of equanimity is motivated by bodhicitta, it becomes a perfection of patience. Hold this thought single-pointedly. Shantideva, in his engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds, once again, unruly beings are a space. They cannot possibly all be overcome. But if I overcome just the thoughts of anger, this will be the same as vanquishing all. And to cover the surface of the earth, there would be insufficient leather. But leather just on the soles of the shoes is equivalent to covering the earth. Nowadays, we can use rubber soles. Now, let's meditate on the benefits of the perfection of patience. Patience brings great stability, courage, and strength of mind. It overcomes all fear. It is the source of inner peace and freedom. Patience is the cause of beauty, having many friends, and it brings higher rebirths. It protects one's accumulation of merit and virtue. The opposite of patience is anger, and we all know what that brings. The perfection of joyous effort. Joyous effort is a mental factor taking delight in the objects of virtue. When conjoined with bodhicitta, it becomes a perfection of joyous effort. It is the energy and enthusiasm that enables us to practice Dharma continuously and steadily. Dharma realizations depend on practice. Consistent, step-by-step practice, day by day, Dharma practice. Joyous effort gives us that energy to work constantly for the benefit of all sentient beings, regardless of the challenges encountered, until all sentient beings are freed from cyclic existence. The perfection of concentration, calm abiding. Calm abiding serves as the basis for the perfection of wisdom, special insight. Calm abiding and special insight are the actual means to cut the bondage of cyclic existence, samsara. Shantideva once again, by knowing that special insight, possessing calm abiding, completely destroys the delusions, first seek calm abiding. To attain calm abiding, we require certain conditions. A suitable place to meditate, little desire, contentment, abandoning multiple activities, pure ethics, and abandoning disturbing conceptions. Then we need to remove the negative habits, the 5 obstacles to its realization. Then there are 8 antidotes, 9 mental stages, 6 powers, and 4 attentions. All of these are elaborated upon in Geshe's Path to Enlightenment books. Calm abiding requires an object of concentration and then the settling of the mind on that object. the perfection of wisdom, special insight. Special insight is where, having attained the perfection of concentration, calm abiding, we now engage in a particular form of analytical wisdom that induces the bliss of pliancy and analyzes to discern the actual nature of the object of meditation. It is the means to gain the perfection of wisdom. The main function of special insight is to remove all faults and delusions. However, special insight requires the realizations of both renunciation and bodhicitta first by purifying obstacles and creating merit. These are the stages of the path to enlightenment. A special insight aims to overcome the basic ignorance of both the self-grasping of the person as inherently existent and the self-grasping of phenomena, everything other than the person, as being inherently existent. The actual means of meditating on the emptiness of the person begins on page 849 of Geshe Acharya Thubten Loden's Path to Enlightenment. Here are some verses elaborating on the nature of shunyata, emptiness. Lord Buddha, in his King of Concentration Sutra, explains, when the moon in the clear sky's reflected image appears in a clear lake, the moon has not moved into the lake. The nature of all phenomena is to be known like this. Nagarjuna, in his Precious Garland, explains, the person is not earth, not water, not fire, not wind, not space, not consciousness, and not all of them. What person is there other than these? Because a person is a composite of the 6 elements, it is not an ultimate. Likewise, the elements are not ultimates, because each is a composite. Shantideva, in his Engaging in the Bodhisattva Deeds, explains, without identifying the imputed thing, its non-existence cannot be comprehended. So, through hearing, thinking and meditating on all the subjects, all the stages of the path, we will attain enlightenment. We don't discard any of the teachings on our journey, from Guru Yoga through the stages of small, medium and great scope. Having the tools, the ways and means to benefit all sentient beings, we travel the pathway that all Buddhas have journeyed. And eventually, step by step, all of us will arrive at the experience of complete, perfect enlightenment. It's a dependent arising.